Aviwe, you're tackling the Cyril Ramaphosa case. We've got the Marikana miners who are actually seeking compensation to the tune of 1 billion rand from Lonmin as well as the president in his personal capacity. But we understand his counsel says it most certainly cannot be in his personal capacity if there ever is to be a compensation. Talk to us about this.
Certainly, Fundo, it dates back to the 15th of August in 2012. In fact, 16th of August, marking 10 years exactly since 34 mine workers were brutally gunned down by the South African Police Service. Now, more than 300 mine workers are taking on the president here, as well as Lonmin, which is now Sibanye-Stillwater, as well as government in its entirety, saying that they actively incited violence, as well as exerted pressure, and the president more specifically used his political influence to the events that then led to the killing of those miners. Remember, it dates back to that 15th of August where it speaks of the concomitant action that was said in those emails, which the miners are saying that is that then the reason that on the following day those miners were killed. In fact, I want to quickly bring in the attorney representing those miners, that is Andries Nkume. Thank you for joining us at eNCA, but just maybe for the benefit of our viewers, take us back to when we were here 2 weeks ago and maybe take us back to what happened in that virtual setting.
On the 2nd of June, there were arguments that were placed before the court that stated that there is no reason why the president should be arguing that there is a technicality between himself and the miners. He can't be arguing that he is not supposed to be personally held liable simply because government has already taken responsibility for the matters that took place in Marikana, and the arguments that took place in the Falam Commission were that government, Lonmin, as well as the president himself, as a person that stood and had so much power, was able to influence what transpired in Marikana, such that people ended up being killed. And he ought to have known that that was going to be the result.
Okay, then we're back here today. We heard those arguments, I understand, from Advocate Badlender as well as Advocate Dalimpofu representing the miners. What can we expect here today?
Today we expect arguments to be finalized, and we expect the ball then to be in the court's hands such that it must decide as to whether or not it gives judgment in the favor of the miners or in favor of the president.
Okay, and then just maybe lastly, 10 years in August since this tragic incident happened, and it's quite glaring that the miners themselves haven't been compensated.
Indeed so, yes. We have some admission by government that stated that it will take responsibility for the deaths and the prosecutions that took place in Marikana. And the state is saying that by the 26th of July, only this year, up until the 19th of August, we are supposed to sit and argue about the amount of compensation that needs to be paid towards the miners. But the argument that has been placed is that it's not only just government that's supposed to take responsibility for this. Lonmin has to, as well as President Ramaphosa in his personal capacity.
Okay, thank you very much, Andries Nkume, representing the miners, more than 300 of them, as we expect that virtual sitting to start here at 10 o'clock today. Of course, Advocate Dalimpofu also inside there representing the miners, suggesting that some of those arguments that we heard the last time around, saying that the president retermed and recharacterized the events that were happening in Lonmin and Marikana, which was the industrial action at that time, recharacterized it to criminal activity that needed concomitant action. Hence, they're now holding him liable in his personal capacity, as we'll hear, as Andries Nkume suggested that today could possibly be the finalization of this matter.
All right, Aviwe, we'll catch up with you a bit later on. That's Aviwe Mtila monitoring the Marikana case relating to compensation there for us. Thank you very much. And then we also had Slindelo Masikane there monitoring the Senzo case for us. That's our reporter as well. Heidi Jokos also monitoring the Dudu Mieni case there for us also in Gauteng.